Hello and welcome back, listeners, to another enlightening episode on Inner Peace, Better Health podcast. I'm your host, Sana, and today we have a truly inspiring guest with us, Miranda J. Mitchell. Listeners, Miranda is a beacon of wisdom, insight, and deep connection. She's a true light warrior who fearlessly explores her shadows to illuminate the path to embodied leadership and energetic alignment for herself and others. Also, Miranda's journey began with the sacred practice of Ashtanga yoga and led her to the transformative realms of human design and gene keys. Today on Inner Peace, Better Health, uh, she stands as a masterful guide and she's helping others embrace their authentic selves and creating creative potential. And she's going to share her insights and wisdom with all of us. So let's get ready to dive into this fascinating conversation with our guest, Miranda J. Mitchell. Miranda, welcome to the show, and it's an absolute honor having you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So Miranda, of course, the first question which comes to my mind is what exactly is human design and how it can help individuals decondition, of course, what is exactly decondition, and how it can help to find their authentic selves.
Wow, that is a big question. Okay. Well, first I'm going to I think, talk about deconditioning so you will understand how I use that word. Deconditioning, I feel, and the way that I support people is basically learning to let go of all of the expectations and societal norms that have been projected onto us from the time that we're born. So through the lens of human design, we're able to tangibly see the energies of what we're here to be in life and where we are putting energy out into the world and what energy that is, as well as where we receive energy from the world. So the beautiful thing about human design is it takes in these different modalities that are traditional, which I love traditional modalities because of Ashtanga, the chakra system. That's one of the things that really drove me to look into this. And then it brings in the new modality of quantum mechanics. So I feel like with any traditional practice, it is important to carry the tradition, but also grow with society and grow with what people are looking into, because otherwise tradition gets lost. So human design is the collaboration of the chakra system, the tree of life, the Chinese I Ching, astrology, and quantum mechanics. So all of this is combined into one chart that is based on your birth date, your birth time, and your birthplace. And once you put that information in there, you receive this chart that looks very overwhelming at first, and it has a lot of detail and depth. But the way that I guide people into learning about it is through a step-by-step process of learning about certain aspects, the more, I don't want to say shallow, but the more top level aspects of the chart, and have them start to embody and practice it first. Because with how things are today, we have endless amounts of information, and a lot of people consume the information, but then don't do the work. They don't do the embodiment, which is what we need to do in our physical body, and that's the deconditioning. I feel that we hold all of our experiences, all of our beliefs within our cells of our body. So a lot of times we may suppress them and continue to move on in life, which is what I did. I'm a very strong person. I've been through a lot, but I've always been able to kind of push those emotions down and continue and grow. And I became very strong because of it. But within that, my spine was really tight. And when I started doing yoga, that's when all of these emotions from my past experiences in my spine were released when I started doing these deeper practices and these deeper positions. So within this, it gives you the awareness of where we have these energies, why we hold a lot of these traumas in our variable energy, where our centers are white. So when you look at the chart, you'll see different colors. There's like white areas, and then there's colored in areas. The colored in areas represent the energy that we're here to put out into the world. And within that, it goes into the archetypes of those energies. So it does go deep. And then the white areas are where we receive energy from others that are around us. So a lot of the times, these white areas are where we actually have a lot of traumas, a lot of struggle, because it's variable energy depending on who we're around. If we're around people that are not supportive, or our family's not supportive, or our family have certain beliefs, we're conditioned in these areas by those people. So when you're able to look at this chart, it's almost like you get to look at it and be like, whoa, that identity that I created within myself, because I have an undefined G center, is not true. All of those beliefs that I've had is based on my experiences of who I'm around. So when you're able to look at that, it gives you kind of a guidebook where you can start to release some of the beliefs, some of the traumas that you've experienced, and kind of step into who you're truly here to be. I do want to say some people get wrapped up in human design as a roadmap, and they stay limited within it, because within human design, there's types, there's profiles, there's unconscious and conscious and archetypes. There's all these things. So a lot of people get stuck in that. But the way I teach it is decondition all of the things first. Then learn about the aspects of the chart, bring those awarenesses in. Like for me, my conscious sun is 48, which means in the lowest expression, I have a lot of inadequacy. So what did that do? I made sure I was top of my class. I made sure I did everything, learned all the certifications. It was constantly learning. But then the highest expression is wisdom and trusting that I know enough when I'm asked questions. So by learning these and bringing these in, you get to embody that. But then there's more. It's not just that. It's like, okay, now there's this. Now what is my next potential? So that is how I teach it. It's like, let go, bring in what is truly you, and then step into something more.
Wow. I mean, that is so interesting to know how profound it can get. And thank you, Miranda, for explaining it so uh, easily. Because it's actually very tough to make others understand these concepts, but they're so prevalent in our daily lives. Uh, Also, I think it's incredible how human design can provide such profound insights into our true nature. But many people, as you mentioned when you explained, many people struggle with societal conditioning. In fact, I come from an Asian family background. Where we are from the childhood conditioned about a certain template that we have to follow. Get good grades in your school, get in a good college, get your degree, get your job, get married, have a family, get your house, and that's a certain template that we have to follow. And if we try to deviate from it, it's like a whole rabbit hole of explanation, justification we have to provide, and in somewhere down the line we kind of lose ourselves in that. So how does human design help in peeling away those layers to reveal our true authentic selves?
That is also a very deep question. The one thing that comes up for me that I want to start with is the way that we're raised it is based on tradition, right? It's based on how our family was raised, the generations before. I feel like with this age that we're currently in now, a lot of us are here to kind of rock the boat, to be more of the rebel, and to step more boldly into who we actually can be rather than who we have been conditioned to be. This is not easy. There's a lot of things that occur. You may get a lash out from your family. You may just get disowned from your family. You may lose relationships or friendships. Previously, I started doing this work on myself. And when you go into your chart, how this supports you is within the astrology archetypes, there is a number that is associated. So I'll go back to the 48, which is in my conscious sun. The conscious sun represents an archetype. It's an archetype of who you're here to be into this world when you're in full alignment. So within each astrology sign, there's then a gate number. The gate number 48 is what I was talking about for mine. And within each one of these gates, there is a shadow frequency, there is a neutral or a gift frequency, and then there's the siddhi, the SIDDHI, the siddhi frequency. It is about learning that every one of these activations within your chart does have these variables. That means all of these shadows that we feel are wrong with us are in fact doorways of opportunities to learn. We will never get rid of these shadows. These shadows are a gift to us so that when I feel inadequacy, which is my shadow, my biggest one, and this shows up numerous times in my chart, it's like I get to sit back and ask myself, why am I feeling inadequate? Who am I being right now? Am I being authentic in my voice? Am I expressing myself in my relationships? Am I boldly being who I'm here to be? So every time a shadow shows up, and it's kind of like a cheat because you get to see this chart, you get to learn about every one of these activations, you get to witness what the gift, the shadow, and the siddhi is, and then you can start to recognize when those shadows show up for you so that you can reflect on it and choose something different rather than feeling like, oh, I'm inadequate. I just need to learn more because I don't know enough. So I'm going to continue to learn so that I can prove my value out into the world so that I can prove my value to myself. So it's learning about how we can love our shadows and witness them and accept them. And then when they come up, see them as a gift, because then it's an opportunity for growth. And like I said previously, our families, friends, they may not understand what's going on with you. But when I've witnessed is when a person starts going deeper into the chart, and I did this personally myself and with the people I work with, it is almost like when you hear these aspects of the archetypes of what the sun, the moon, Mercury, what all of them mean, you get to see the archetype of the gate that it is in, what the shadow, the gift, and the siddhi frequency is. You get to witness the line and how you're here to experience them. It opens up I always like to say it's like a flower or like a lotus in the mud. It's like all of a sudden you hear it and then this flower opens up and it's like, oh, I knew that internally, but I did not know I knew that until I heard this. So it helps awaken I say it helps awaken your DNA to who you truly are. And then it's actually your opportunity to do the hard work, the shadow work, to say the hard things to the people that you love, to shift the way that you are being in the world, and to trust the process. Because when you have this awakening inside your body and then all of a sudden you feel excited and you like know this is true, but then you have external restraints, it's because of fear. So it's your opportunity to step into that and to do the hard work. It's not easy. And it's not just a one-time thing. It's going to happen over and over again. But if you know that within yourselves and you feel it to be true, and you know that you want to make an impact in humanity and the healing of humanity, the healing of the earth, then it's your opportunity to do that. So it's your choice.
Yeah, totally agree. And also, you have mentioned the gene keys as a part of your work. So, how do the gene keys complement human design in this process of personal growth?
The gene keys are where I get the shadow and the gift and the city from. So the gene keys is an extension from human design. Human design was downloaded, received by Ra Uruhu in 1987 in Spain. And then he worked with Richard Rudd, who is the person that was able to receive all of the activations within the gene keys. So they complement each other because first it was human design. Then Richard and Ra actually worked together a lot on human design to bring it out into the world. And then Richard received these transmissions about the gene keys. So I like to say human design is more the masculine. It is the tangible body graph that you get to see, that you got to like, okay, I'm undefined here, I've defined here, it's unconscious here, it's conscious here. These are the gate. So it's like very do, learn, learn, learn. And then after you understand that, I feel like the gene keys is a more subtle layer. He goes into like the proteins in our body. It's about our body's recognition. So then we understand the shadow, the gift, and the city, and it combines our self, learning about ourself with the collective. So it's understanding how each one of us, when we learn to love ourselves and understand ourselves in these deep healing ways, we actually heal humanity through our own introspection. And it connects with the physical body. Like I said, it has the proteins, like different types of proteins, what gates are associated, or he calls them activations, what activations are associated with the liver or the heart. So then you can start to understand why someone may have heart issues. It may be emotional, where they felt like they had to push, and be in that willpower their entire life. So he brings it into the body, which I feel like is the more subtle, feminine, contemplative way, rather than the masculine learning aspect of human design. So I combine both of them.
So basically, gene keys, like we say that DNA is kind of the blueprint of our human body, with all the biological characteristics given to us. So gene keys basically, it explores the blueprint of the human states of consciousness or the energy. That's what I can understand from it. But it's really, really, you know, such a vast and profound concept to understand. And, thank you once again, Miranda, for explaining this. Um, and also, are there any specific practices or routines that you recommend for staying aligned with one's true self?
Well, I do like to use human design as a blueprint for that, because like if a person has an undefined root in human design, the root center is about groundedness. It is about stability and safety and home. And if it's undefined, what that means is that person takes in energies of those around them, amplifies it. So then they're put under pressure, because the root center is a pressure center. It's a pressure to get everything done. It has to do with timing, right timing, force, adrenaline, doing all of the things. So if it's undefined, you get amplified energy, where these people sometimes feel anxious, like they have to constantly get this to-do list done, or they're not successful, or they're never getting enough done. Whereas a person with a defined root, like myself, I have a consistent way of understanding and trusting right timing. So I tune into right timing. So I like to use the chart as a tool in understanding what best supports the person within their own stillness practices. So for me personally, I have an undefined G center, which is all about love, direction, identity. So I have a tendency in the past, and still get caught up in it, even though I'm aware, I lose myself in identities of others. So for me, I'm a 2-4 profile, so the profile is very important as well. I have to spend a lot of alone time to get, like, in my space without other people's energy so that I can understand my energy before I go out into the world. I actually kind of recommend this for everybody because I've noticed that when people get up in the morning and they're like, they don't have a practice in the morning, whether it's yoga or meditation or just journaling or time in silence, that you get wrapped up in momentum. So it's like every morning, connect with yourself. How are your emotions? How are you feeling? What is it that you want to get done that day? How do you want to be experiencing that day? And give yourself that time so that you have a choice in how you experience your day rather than getting kind of caught up in the momentum of external demands. I've noticed that when I've done this, I get so much more done in an energy that is so much more calm than if I jump out of bed and start rushing around. So I would recommend connecting with yourself in the morning, understanding how you're feeling, understanding what you want to do for that day. And if you know your chart, connect with something that you know you struggle with. That's where the deconditioning comes. If you know you struggle with timing, ground yourself in your own energy. If you know yourself that you struggle with being over-identified in other people, ask yourself, who am I? How am I feeling today? So I don't get wrapped up in other people. Or emotions. If you have an undefined emotional solar plexus and ask yourself, how are my emotions today? Because when you come in around people and you have that undefined, like you can take in people's anxiety and think it's yours. So it's understanding these key aspects for yourself and working on that one big issue first. That's the deconditioning work. The deconditioning is awareness and the practice of embodiment and taking that time that you need.
Also, the process of deconditioning can sometimes be uncomfortable. So, how do you guide your clients through the discomfort and the resistance that may arise?
That's such a great question. And, I know there's a way that some people say you're supposed to answer it to be gentle. In my human design chart, I have a lot of activation to my throat. My Mercury's in Scorpio. My Mercury's in gate 28, which is all about challenge and struggle and being in the uncomfortable. I have the gate 39 in my unconscious sun, which is about provoking people into change. So for me and those that work with me know that I can not be gentle sometimes. I like to say that being in the uncomfortable means there's growth. When you are constantly in the comfortable, you're not growing, you're staying stagnant. And I'm kind of blunt in my words. And I know not everyone's designed to work with me, but I also know that those that really need that push, that need that I don't know, I would say that, that tough love, because I also have the 37, which is this mother archetype of love, loving humanity, loving you so deeply, but also like, no, you're going to do your work. I'm not going to hold your hand. I'll hold your hand, but you're going to do it. I'm not going to be the one that's doing it. So for those, I would say, start to learn to love the uncomfortable, because if you're in the uncomfortable, it means that you're doing something different, you're doing something scary, and it means you're growing and you're not staying stagnant.
I agree. Great, Miranda. And finally, if our listeners, they wish to explore more about human design, gene keys, deconditioning, and also connect with you, how they can do that.
Thank you. Yes, I have a website, miranda-mitchell.com. You can go on there and read all about me. I have a link. It says Get It. It's a purple little button. You can get your human design chart there. So you can click on that, enter in your birth date, birth time, and birthplace. I also have a podcast. It's called Provoking Prosperity, where I bring on creatives. I feel like creatives are a beautiful tool or a beautiful individual that helps humanity heal and grow. So I bring on creatives to talk about the creative process, staying connected with their creativity, and provoking social norms as far as success and money. And also Instagram, Miranda J. Mitchell. that's where I like to spend most of my time.
Great. We'll have the details mentioned in the show notes. For our listeners and Miranda, thank you. Thank you so, so much for sharing your wisdom, giving us this masterclass in human design and how you are leveraging your experiences, your, insights in helping people understand and, helping people get more and more familiar with their true authentic self. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Such great questions. I appreciate it so much.
So, to all of our listeners, I hope you found this conversation as enlightening, as informative as I did. And obviously, what we learn from this conversation today is embracing your authentic self is definitely a powerful step towards personal growth and inner peace. So, if you are ready to start your journey, make sure to reach out to Miranda and explore the resources available to you. Until next time, stay true to yourself, stay inspired, and take care of your health inside and out. Thank you.